Are we ready to introduce our players, Grant?
Oh, yes, Creighton, and we're following you on this one because in the bottom left, he is teamless.
No, he's not.
Tap plays for KAP, the French team. He is the blue Zerg player from France, as mentioned. It's Denver.
Teamless until very recently, and then picked up by that French team. And in the top right-hand side in the red, our Terran competitor currently not dropping a single match this tournament. He's 2-0. Can he make it 3? It is our Russian Terran player from Team GP. His name is Arctur.
Okay, so maybe some of these silly viewers have not had the chance to watch Arctur play yet, and what you should expect from him is very solid macro aggression. He plays like a Korean Terran. We said he can split like Maru just for no reason. He's been so good. We see Denver is going for a bit of a drone scout to make sure he's not being proxy rexed. But Arctur's just going to play Reaper Expand.
Yeah, very standard here on both sides. Hatch, gas, pool out of Denver, and we got Arctur looks like he's going for that Reaper and going to drop the expansion on the low ground. So a lot of respect being shown on both sides. Now, Grant, there's been a lot of talk the last couple days about the format of the tournament. There's been some buzz on Twitter and the TL.net, and a lot of mixed feelings about how the organizers have split out these matches over so many days. And I think there are good things and bad things about it. I love that they're trying something new, but I do love that this format gives each player a day or two to practice for their next match. It gives it that sort of GSL feeling where you're like, okay, I know who I'm ready for tomorrow, and I have no doubt in my mind that players as diligent as Denver, and I don't know about Arctur's study habits, but I'm sure he must study real hard with his work. They must have been watching replays, must have been studying, must have been talking to their teammates to get as much intel as they can about what to expect from these players, and we see it coming down on both sides. If I were Denver and I'd never heard of Arctur before, I'd be like, no, I'll 12 pool and just get this over with. But clearly not the case. A lot of respect being shown for both players here, and that is so cool.
And I had a look at Arctur's history this season against TVZ, but he does play in a barcode, and I wasn't able to establish it, so I don't know how good against Zerg he is. So far, his Reaper control has been nice. Got a little bit of damage on a couple of drones, forced the Lynx to sit back. He has an expansion. He is going 1-1-1 behind this so far. We've not seen that starport yet, but we'd expect it. As soon as the Swappity Doodles goes down onto the reactor on the factory, there we go. There is that starport. Everything very normal here for our Terran players so far, and I don't want to come across as too biased, of course. We are also seeing Hellions being produced, SCVs being produced, nothing normal. Link speed on the way for us, getting drones, starting his creep spread. Everything, it's the calm before the storm right now, Graham.
This is great, man. People often ask me, Grant, as a commentator, like, oh, who do you cheer for? Who do you want to win? Do you have a favorite race that you always cheer for, whatever? And my answer is always the same, Grant. I say I cheer for a good game. I don't really care who wins. I've got some favorites in the back of my mind. My teammates, I always cheer for them when I can. But really, most importantly to me is that we have a good StarCraft game. I hate it when a game is decided by, one player slipping up on their micro and just, oops, I stepped on a landmine and lost 20 Marines. Oops, I didn't split for Banelings because I was macroing back home and I missed it out, sort of a bummer ending for a game. And I love games that set up like this. So far, look at the resource of the units lost tab right now, Grant. Nothing on either side, no aggression. Both players being very, very cautious, being very careful with their units. And it's been so cool to see games where both players have a chance to show what they're made of, to show their best games possible. Good scouting, good tech changes, and hopefully good micro when the final fights happen. This is shaping up to be a really good game number one.
Yeah, and I'm impressed with Denver's scouting here. He went for early pneumatized Carapax. He was able to see that it is Hellion Liberator to start things off. So he's going to expect Hellions in the front, Liberators in the back. He should be placing his Spore Crawlers behind the mineral line in his main and natural, most likely. He should add one on to the... Okay, he's going to place it in front there, and he's not got one there. This is late. He knows... Okay, there we go. That's a good position. Just slightly off-center, so the Liberator isn't going to be able to come in and get the maximum surface area. We will see a Liberator coming in here, but 4 Queens is going to absolutely destroy that. Oh, Creep goes down, though. Yeah. It's not a great trade for either player, really. You don't want to lose a Liberator, but if you are going to lose a Liberator, you certainly want to take a Queen with you. Lair on the way for Denver right now, and we're seeing lots and lots of racks and bio play on the way here from Arctur.
Yeah, this is going to be, looks to be very standard. A lot of bio coming out. Third base coming down now for Arctur. Getting those engineering base for the upgrades. Adding on gases. Just, again, everything you expect from a normal, healthy, early to mid-game transition for these players. Man, I am real excited. Like I said, when this final fight happens, or when even the first fight happens, because the units lost tab is still at 1 each. That Liberator and Queen trading out. But both players scouting really well. What do you think Denver's best option is here? He knows he's going up against Bio. Zerg has a couple options up against Bio that are all pretty decent. What do you foresee Arctur looking at?
I think we'll see a Spire go down in just a couple of seconds now as well. Gases are being added. Lair is done. I think we're going to be seeing Lingbane Muta. We will keep an eye, of course. For now, it is just Lingbane. We see melee upgrades coming in and centrifugal hooks. I'm very much anticipating a Spire very shortly as more and more gas has been added. As for Arctur, he is going to be playing very heavy bio. I'm not sure if he goes into Widow Mines. Obviously, we haven't seen him yet in this matchup. So far, he's doing everything right. There are a couple of Widow Mines, but he's not producing more yet. I'd like to see Widow Mines, and he needs to focus on his upgrades. Has he added his armory yet? No. So I really think he needs to add that soon. So he can start keeping these upgrades rock and rolling and never have to stop. I think that's such an important thing for a Terran, is never stopping upgrading. It does look like for now, though, Arctur may find a base.
Yeah, this third base very low, fourth base rather very low right now.
Micro, nice.
Splitting from Arctur here, moving backwards,
very
sniping
nice.
those Banelings one by one. What great target firing here from our Russian Terran player. He has cleaned most of this up, and he's going to keep putting pressure on here.
Yeah, and these are good trades here from Arctur so far. Oh my god, the target fire and the Banelings. He's for real, I swear. Arctur right now is going to take down a couple of Queens. Arctur might be able to just take the game here and now with just these few units. The Spire's gone down, but it's so late. Arctur gets this base. He's now free base against free base. He does finally lose everything. But my God, this kid is so good.
That was so great there. You were cutting out a bit on your mic as well, Grant. I'm not sure what it was there. Maybe the excitement bubbling over a bit.
I think I peaked.
Phenomenal play from Arctur. As you said, the splitting was great. The target firing was phenomenal. He has control that we have not seen in a young Terran player since Clem. This is really exciting to see. And his armory going down now, as you said, maybe a couple seconds late, but honestly, his timing not too far off. That armory going to finish in 10 seconds. Only going to be a couple seconds away, and his +2/+2 should start right away. Sniping Overlords, moving across the map now, and snagging that fourth base is so important. Not just economically, but that does mean the larva count going to be restricted for Denver. And Lingbane Muta, you've got to have a huge larva count here, so every little bit counts.
Creep being pushed back as well. Creep, another huge necessity here from the Zerg player. Arctur's up 15 supply in a matchup where he should not be up in supply. Denver has a bit of a bank for mutas. We should see 5 or 6 start very quickly, but actually he's having to spend it to even stay alive. We see the pressure continuing to come in here from Arctur, and what Arctur's doing that I love is he's just keeping a lot of reinforcements at home. This counterattack, what's he building down there just to the south east of this? Yeah, it's a command center, so he's going to see something coming as it comes. This is so important. The ramp, no, he doesn't manage to get this. This is no, okay, this isn't great now. A small mistake here from Arctur. He's going to lose so many workers. Great turn.
Terran players look away. This is NSFT, not safe for Terrans. He is going to snipe down those Banes, but the natural getting cleaned out, the main getting cleaned out, and this is so disappointing from Arctur. Grant, I talked about at the beginning of the game, I was really hoping for a good game of StarCraft, not a game that's decided by Widowmine hits doing friendly fire. 33 SCPs going down, and this is a huge mistake, a crippling mistake, dare I say, a game-ending mistake for Arctur.
Do you know what's even worse, Creighton? 33 SCVs went down, only 21 were killed by Denver. The Widowmine, they're killing 12.
I love these Widowmines. In their official report, if you look down at the bottom, they have 0 kills each technically, but actually they have murdered so many of their fellow countrymen. I think there's 3 kills and 1 kill. That is not the case. Those are traitor SCVs and should be burned or drawn and quartered. I don't know what you do for... I don't know how you murder an SCV after they've committed war crimes.
I think it's like a crab where you like stab it in the eyes and then stab it underneath at the same time within 10 seconds. How many crab people
have you fought in your life, Grant?
I never stop. I never stop. What do you think I'm doing whenever I go for a break?
I was going to say earlier, it was a bit disappointing from Denver because he was under so much pressure from Arctur earlier, losing that 4th base, getting his Spire down at just the wrong time. It's so disappointing to see a Zerg player put a Spire down and then not make any mutas right away because, you know, obviously you want that Spire to go down and you want 5 mutas to pop out immediately. But now that he's recovered, he's finally getting some mutas on the board and should be able to defend against these attacks from Arctur. But Arctur, good, some good pressure here, drawing Denver up to the north side while he pushes down onto the south.
Yeah, the problem for Arctur is that his SCV count was so low for so long. He's having to mule like crazy. He still has a good army, but it's very overstimmed right now. Banelings could decimate it. He's going to try and stand a fight. Meanwhile, at the north side of the map, we can see the natural is being absolutely obliterated here by Mutalisks. The third going to be hit. One Muta gets literally blown into the stratosphere. But there's just so many Mutas, so many SCVs going down. We're seeing the worker count 75 to 45. Arctur, I think, played some of the best StarCraft I've seen in a long time, but he made one little mistake.
Yeah, one little mistake indeed. I always tell my folks there's a phrase about American football, that it's the game of inches, where every inch you get matters. And I always say StarCraft is the game of milliseconds, where any millisecond you could make a mistake that changes the entire game completely. And Arctur, unfortunately, with that one critical stumbling block, that one critical error early in the game, leading to the snowball effect. Now, his army supply is still pretty good, but unfortunately, his economy just destructinated. As Denver's up on 5 bases, Arctur's going to get pushed back to 3.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to make any jokes about every inch mattering right now, because it does seem that Arctur's been bent over in this game. And he's certainly going to be waddling tomorrow. He is
Grant.
You're going to get fired.
Grant, we just got invited back for week 2, and you're this nonsense on the B stream? Come on. Apologies to all the children, conservatives, nuns, and priests who may be watching our channel now. Grant, you naughty boy, how dare you? As Denver grabs game number 1 here, Arctur bleeds. But will he die? His other series have all been 2-1s for map score, so he's no stranger to losing a map. But man, what do you think, Grant? It's hard to predict, but if he had made it through, if he had not made that critical error early in the game, would he still be in the fight?
Yes. Without doubt. 33 workers is the difference between winning and loss in that. He was ahead. I just have to reopen my StarCraft creator.
No problem.
He was ahead. He was definitely ahead. If that wall had gone up, he would have taken some damage at the third, but probably 1/3 of the amount he took, and it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah. Look, he did really well, despite being so far behind. It looked, his army supply was still almost even with Denver for a fair amount of the game. His upgrades were way behind, but he was still trying to get some of that done. But yeah, as you said, just that one critical error, losing so much economy. It's funny when you talk about it, because StarCraft is a game that can be very misleading. You can see the game as if you just take a screenshot and you can think, oh, Arctur's doing just fine. When really, if you see the overall picture and you understand what's been happening for the last few minutes, it paints a very different picture of who's ahead and who's behind. So it's very difficult to call. But I think that game was maybe a little easier to understand, that even though they looked like they were in similar positions, it was a bloodbath.
I'm still laughing at my own joke.
Is
that bad?
Can't wait to see
it even worse. I'm literally staring at it right now. Guys, we are in the loading screen for game 2. Denver currently leading Arctur at 1-0. And now we move on to the second matchup here. Creighton Olsen, I think I might observe this one. What do you have to say about that?
I thought it was my turn.
Oh, it is your turn. You're right. No, you're right. It is your turn. You're observing. Remember, you're number 5. Remember that. Creighton, take it away.
Sure thing. In the top right-hand corner, in the blue, representing Russia and Team GP, currently down 1-0. Is he going to get his first loss of the day? It's our blue Terran player, Arctur.
And in the bottom left, he is currently 1-1 in the tournament, looking to take it 2-1 for his total. He needs one more map in this best of 3. The red Zerg player representing Team KAP, the Frenchman, it's Denver.
Interesting note here, if Denver wins this one, he'll be 4-2, and Arctur will be 4-4. Their record will be 2-1 each for match score. So actually, if Denver wins this, he'll move from 5th place in his group up to 3rd place in his group, behind Gung Fu Banda.
And a quick shout out to everyone in Twitch chat as this game starts off relatively standard here so far. I'm seeing a lot of incredible people. Thank you for supporting us, 1,100 plus of you. Again, I'm seeing personal friends. Erwin, thanks for being here. I like to give shout outs to the people that support us, and I'm sure Creighton has many of those from his Twitch chat and his friends list as well, sticking around. So thank you.
They're no longer my friends. They're laughing at your really terrible jokes.
It was
put them
an amazingly good joke.
On my shit list. They're out for sure. No question. But look at this. Reaper expand from Arctur. Hatch gas pool again from Denver. Look, Denver won that game, and it looked very easy after those run-bys. But I think Denver realizes that that game was a lot closer than he may have expected it to be.
Yeah, definitely. Arctur's first half of the game, first third specifically, was incredible. He was so solid. His micro down when he killed the fourth base of Denver was just immense. It was unbelievable. He targeted banelings down perfectly. He moved through packs of lings in order to get to the banelings, whilst the rest of his army, he looked great. He just needs to iron out the small mistake, and he'll know that. You can look at that game and go, I won that game in all except one sense. One thing went wrong. I fixed that one thing, I win. It's very easy as a pro gamer to reset after a silly mistake, as long as you don't let it get to you, you know? And these guys are experts at not doing that.
Absolutely, and that you know, the mindset of a pro player is tough to get into, but that's certainly one thing I think we can agree on. If a pro player loses to a stupid mistake like that, I think it should be pretty easy for Arctur to say, you know what, okay, I screwed up, but I'm still a good player. I'm still going toe to toe with him. I still stayed in that game for 5 minutes after that terrible mistake. You know, could be much worse for him, and he's opening up 1-1-1 again this game. Hellions across, and third base down pretty early for Denver. Yeah, pretty normal time, I guess. Yeah.
The Liberator didn't do too much in that last game, so I'd be surprised if we see Liberator again. I wouldn't be surprised maybe we see something like Banshees, maybe a Battle Cruiser opening if he's feeling very, very excited. No, it's going to be a Viking. Okay, so it looks like Arctur's up to something because he wants to try and clear vision. He's starting Stim very early as well. And I think we're going to see a timing attack here from the Russian Terran player.
It's looking more and more like it here, adding the Viking on, just getting some of that DPS, clearing Overlords, making sure that you can set your opponent back. Every Overlord that's cleared is so frustrating for Denver to deal with. Just screwing up his build or just setting him back bit by bit. A couple links into the natural here might do a bit of damage, but probably not too much. Will force an evacuation, a bit of lost mining time, but not too much. But yeah, I agree. I think it would make sense if Arctur went for a timing attack. We've seen his micro is unbelievable. So adding on the Liberator behind this, just for a multi-pronged harass, and then of course if the Liberator stays alive, adding its DPS on to the attack later.
Yeah, and I like this. He knows last game's Liberator didn't work because of the Overlord timing of the Scout with Denver having great game sense there. So this time he's going to take that probability away. He's going to clear Overlords in his path, and then he'll send something in. Now, this is frustrating for Denver because you don't know, is he going to follow up with a Battlecruiser? Is he going to follow up with Banshees? Is he going to follow up with a Liberator? Is it going to be Widow Mines? Is it going to be... There's so many probabilities that Denver has to take into account right now, and with the Liberator not being seen, is there even spores down yet?
Not one.
No.
Not a single spore on the map yet. So Liberator might actually get a bit of damage done. It's heading across now, and of course the Viking clearing out some of the Overlords. I believe this Overlord from Denver did not see that Liberator coming across.
It didn't.
Yeah, so the main base is going to be under a little bit of fire, but of course with some good positioning, the Queen can restrict that Liberator to just a few drone kills before it's forced to pack up and go home.
The pull needs to be
a lot of options for Arctur.
Yeah, the pull needs to be pretty quick here because this Liberator is going to find damage. Last game we saw the Liberator go in. There were 4 Queens because it had been scouted and everything went a little bit wrong. This game we're going to see the Liberator get in. It's going to get definitely 2. Just 2. And now he needs to unsiege and move on. He can just use this to stop mining time. But don't throw it away, Arctur. You don't need to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Arctur's doing
there
here.
We go.
Right out of there, eating a lot more damage than he was needed to. The Queen getting some good kills. He's re-sieging on top of the Queen, trying to get that out, but he's moving in as well. The Queen going to get out? Yeah, the Queen will get out and pick that Liberator down. Trying to move the Hellions into the third at the same time, but Denver's already got a 4th base down. He hasn't lost much at all.
No, good defense there from Denver, definitely. I think Arctur could have unseized a little quicker. He denied a good amount of mining time. If we take a look at mining right now, it is specifically gas favoring that here of Denver. Of Arctur even, but Denver mining just a little bit more minerals with that 4th base getting ready to go. But this is all okay so far. I don't think Arctur is under any threat. He's at a decent work account, although Denver's really made a lot of drones. Upgrades are okay. 1-1 is getting pretty close. Well, halfway done. More racks being added. The game so far, split, you know?
Yeah, it's very similar to last game we were talking about, where both players setting up for a strong mid to late game play.
Yeah.
just getting the upgrades they need, not doing anything sneaky, underhanded, not doing any guerrilla fighting or anything, just trying to get a solid army out for a solid play later in the game. Both of them feeling confident about their chances in a mid or late game push. Link's going to spot this third base, but Denver should feel really confident about his economic position, and we'll see if he can defend against this upcoming attack from Arctur.
Arctur is very supply blocked. He started a depot very late. Bit of a mistake there. He's not going to be any more. He's at the other side of the map. Oh, not again.
Man, the Marines trying to come across the depot open. Arctur is just going to go for it here. He's going to try and split these Marines, though, but with the medevacs there, he's forced to pick up and get out. The Queen's able to shell down these medevacs. Good discipline from Denver. Focus firing down those medevacs instead of focus firing down the Marines, and that's going to buy him a lot more time. But look at this, 16 SCVs going down back home as Denver defends. That went well on both fronts of the attack for Denver.
Yeah, Denver he's just found everything he needs 2 games in a row now in order to really skyrocket his economy. Behind us, the Spire is getting close. The gas bank is already at 600, which is great. He's making Marines, he's making Banelings, he's starting +2. He's going to find more workers here, even if it's just a couple, even if it's just lost mining time. Right now, Denver's finding what he needs to do in order to take the game in a very similar fashion to the last one. You can see more workers going down. This fight is not going to go well here for Arctur. Arctur's supply starting to fall quite quickly. He's managed to save a lot of the medevacs. I think he's got 4. And his upgrades are good, but he really, really needs to control the flow of damage that is coming his way. He needs to plug it. Because if he can stop taking damage, sure, he can macro up, he can catch up, and he can hopefully win in a later game. But right now he has to play defensively from behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking rougher and rougher here for our Terran player. He's behind on army supply. Well, almost behind on army supply. He's behind on worker count. He's behind on base. He's on 3 bases to the now 5 of Denver.
Yeah.
Now, Grant, I don't want to downplay the accomplishments of Denver in this game. He's been playing a really solid game. Was Arctur our player on day 1? I remember one of our players said they were feeling really under the weather.
Ziggy.
It was Ziggy in day 1. Okay, not Arctur. And who was Braddock was playing from a hotel Wi-Fi?
Vanya. No.
Vanya.
Yes.
So anyway, okay, so it wasn't Arctur. I wasn't sure if Arctur was maybe feeling under the weather, not feeling his best. But okay, that's not the case. Thank goodness.
No.
That does just mean that Denver's playing a really solid game here. It doesn't seem like the Arctur we've been seeing in previous iterations of this tournament, though.
No, and again, this is the first time we've seen him play this matchup. Oh my god, that Widowmine hit was pretty decent. Those are the kind of things Arctur needs. He's resetting the Baneling count. He's already killed 16 Banelings this game. Could be nice to see that number continue to rise. Muters on the way. Is he set up to defend against Muters? No missile turrets at all. The Muters now seen. He does have Widowmines. He does have Marines. A couple of Marines will go down, but he needs to add on missile turrets, and that is exactly what he's doing. Is free in the production tab right now. We're seeing +2 on the way for both players at pretty similar times. Arctur will have a slight lead as that finishes in 5 seconds. Could end up being a very, very important right now as we have a huge swell of Banelings coming in right now for Denver. Arctur needs to hold on.
Dear Lord, that was disgusting, Grant. If you're a Terran player, this has not been your series. I feel bad after talking up Arctur time and time again. He has just struggled against Denver right now. Denver reading the situations very well, defending very well, and even Arctur's legendary micro can't save you if you're tucked away in a corner here with Banelings bearing down. That is so unfortunate. Great attack by Denver, though, getting everything you need to get there. The SCV count down to 51, the army supply down to 40. I mean, how on earth can Arctur come back in this game, Grant?
He's going to need the best Widowmine hits of all time. If he can snipe every Baneling before they can connect, if he can somehow stabilize, his army supply isn't too bad, his upgrades are good, he is getting drilling claws, +3 is on the way, which is much quicker than that of his opponent, but unfortunately it is going to be a very, very much uphill battle. Baby was put in the corner, Baby couldn't get out, and Banelings blew Baby up.
That's not the ending to Dirty Dancing that I remembered.
No, everyone explodes.
Dirty Dancing, except Patrick Swayze is a Baneling. I would watch that.
I would
100% watch that.
Not only watch that, I think we should make that.
Oh my god! Somebody call Tempo for the original soundtrack.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We'll get the best people on that right away. Thousands of Banelings now on the map. I say that there's 26, but it seems like thousands. Because there's 4 more on the way. Denver on 6, 7 bases, or working on bases 6 and 7 now, going up to Hive Tech, adding on +2 air attack, and his army supply just dwarfing that of Arctur. Arctur's stuck on 3 bases. He's mined out now of his main practically. Is a natural about half capacity. He's basically mining from 1.5 bases right now, whereas Denver's on what 1. 2,
131.
3.5, 4, 4.5. I mean, yeah. It's, as you said, it's going to take miracle Baneling shots or a big blunder from Denver, really, for this game to swing back in favor of Arctur, and Baneling landmines are now a real thing. Please.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yep.
Ooh.
Come on.
Oh.
Yeah. So satisfying.
There are 2 Banelings for every 1 Marine. There was a decent Widow Mine hit, does manage to go off, but there's not enough here. There's just no way. It's the Banelings roll in, the Lings roll in. Goodbye, good night, see you next time. Unfortunately, Denver is too much for Arctur. There's nothing left here, and we will see those magical 2 letters coming in very shortly. There it is, GG.